Hi guys, my name is Michelle Dapper. I'm a sports anchor with KCRA here in Sacramento. May have seen me on the news, if you watch the news. A little bit about myself. I was born in Southern California, raised in the Bay Area. Went to high school in the Bay Area, graduated, of course, there. How many of you guys are in high school around here? Anyone in high school? Do you have a broadcasting program? See, you're already like 10 steps ahead of me, because I didn't have one. Now they do, but I didn't then. Graduated high school, got into UCLA, but I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I really didn't. I knew my uncle went to UCLA. I knew I wanted to go to college, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I told my parents, look, I'm not going to UCLA. I'm going to go to the junior college, figure out what I want to do, then we'll go from there. And sure enough, took a couple of radio TV broadcasting classes. It was actually at Chabot College in Hayward, and fell in love instantly. Anyone, that kid in class that has to sit next to the teacher because they talk a lot? Okay, yeah, that was me. So I knew I loved to talk, so hey, there's an occupation for everyone. I knew I loved to talk, so I took radio TV broadcasting classes, and like I said, instantly fell in love, got my 2-year degree, transferred to San Francisco State, go Gators, and took the radio TV broadcasting program. I also double majored in journalism for print, so I had my kind of my backup plan if TV didn't work out. And graduated there, summa cum laude, pretty proud of that, and had a resume tape. So the big thing with TV is you have to have a resume tape if you want to be on camera. So basically a resume tape is almost like a job resume on hard paper. So you take that resume tape with, anchoring, reporting, and stories that you did in college, and you send it out to stations all over the country. So I started applying for jobs. I got offered a morning anchor job in Laredo, Texas. Flew down to Laredo. They gave me the okay, yes, we want to hire you. And I said, I was still kind of teetering the fact that I didn't want to do news. I wanted to do sports. So I told him, I was like, let me think about it. Give me a couple days to think about it. And thank goodness I did that, because 2 other stations in Texas called me for sports reporter positions. So I was interviewing with them. And then finally, Abilene, Texas called. Anyone ever heard of Abilene, Texas, right? Me neither. No, I knew about it, but I had never been there, obviously. Abilene, Texas called. It was the NBC station in Abilene, Texas, and they said, we would like to consider you for a Monday through Friday sports anchor. You're the sports director. You're anchoring Monday through Friday. You're part of the main news talent team. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the one I want. So fly out there, completely different than California, very flat. You get out there and it's nothing but just grass and hay, and it's very different, not as pretty as California, I must say. And my first job, I got the job making $25,000 a year. So it's a big sacrifice that you have to make. And if anyone knows about $25,000 a year, not very much money. But you know what? I'm anchoring and I'm doing sports 5 days a week. Love my job. This is what I want to do. This is what's going to make it happen. I was there for three years. It was a wonderful experience. I covered, anyone ever seen Friday Night Lights, the shows? Nope, Friday Night Lights. I was covering those same exact teams. On any given Friday night, it was 30,000 people in a stadium, and it was electric. And you go in and it's something out of a movie, and it was pretty special. So that really kind of, being on air 5 days a week really kind of helped me develop skills and how to anchor and be on the desk, and it's a really good starting point that I had. Spent 3 years there, then I took a job in Eugene, Oregon, covering the Oregon Ducks and the Oregon State Beavers, went to Rose Bowls, national championships, so I'm starting to feel pretty good about myself. I'm like, oh, my career's starting to take off. I'm covering major sports now, as far as major college programs that were relevant, and had a blast there. Was there for 2 years. Then I took my next job in Spokane, Washington. You can kind of see a trend here. There's a lot of moving around in television. So a lot of sacrifice and a lot of time away from, I guess, home. So I spent 6 years in Spokane covering Gonzaga and a lot of other programs there, in NCAA tournaments for basketball, and a lot of traveling. That station, we had an ESPN-style half-hour sports show every single night on our Dash 2 channel. So that station was very big into sports. So every night we had a local TV show or TV sports show that covered the region's sports. So that was a fantastic job. But I always knew that I wanted to get back to California. And the goal was either LA, San Francisco, and it's funny because Sacramento was never really on my radar. Being from, the Bay, it was, Cowtown, or I'd come up here because my friends were going to UC Davis and we'd go to a party or whatnot. And it's funny because I never thought of Sacramento as home. And it's funny because I was in Spokane and I got an email. In fact, it was a Facebook message from my now news director saying, "Hey, Michelle, what's your job situation? Have you ever thought about working in Sacramento?" And it's funny how these opportunities come at you because I honestly can say I never thought of working in Sacramento. And I was like, Sacramento, it's 90 miles from my parents' house. Why not? Why not go for this? So I was like, you know what, let's talk. So they flew me out, met with the people at the station, fell in love instantly. I mean, KCRA is by far my most favorite stop in my career. The station's a legacy station. The reputation it has is amazing. The people that I work with are professionals day in and day out. It's a really, really good place. And I'm so thankful to be here. So now 4.5 years later, I'm still here covering sports. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I got a pretty good job. I don't go to work every day. I do what I love every day. So that's the most fantastic part of my job. Favorite part of my job is storytelling. I love to tell stories and share people's sacrifices or obstacles or overcoming the odds. I think that's why I do what I do day in and day out. It's not to be on TV. It's not, in fact, that's almost probably my least favorite part about it. But I just love sharing, people that are inspiring day in and day out because everyone has a story and everyone has a story that should be told. So that's about me. Any questions? No? You want to see some stories? So, stories. So how do we come about telling stories? So stories, like say on my typical day, I come in, I anchor 2 days a week, so I anchor the weekends and then I report during the week. And I'd come in about 10 o'clock every weekday for 3 days a week. And you have to there's a chain of command at work. So it's not like I can come in and say, I have this story and I want to do this story and this is the story I'm doing. It doesn't work that way. So you have to come in and say, hey, I have this story idea. You pitch the story about, what this athlete's about, what they're overcoming or what they're doing. And then, your news director or assistant news director will say, yes, let's do that. That's what you're on today. If not, you have to also be willing to change. If the Kings, fire their head coach, boom, you're off that story and you're on to the breaking news. Lots of deadlines in news, and very long work hours as well. So I come in a typical day, I'll pitch a story, say why we should cover this and why it's relevant to the news station and why viewers would be interested in hearing this. Here's one that I did with Stockton. Now Stockton, it's funny because Stockton can get a bad rap. So my goal with Stockton is, find these kids that are trying to do better and stay off the streets and trying to inspire others. And so we found this kid. I called him Stockton's best kept secret because he turned pro as a boxer, but he's not getting any press. He's kind of under the radar. And the cool part about it is his dad's his coach. So it's funny to have a dynamic as a dad, but you're also balancing coach. So here's a look at this one we just did.
The city of Stockton has a very rich boxing history, and Vincent Avina looks to become the next big thing to come out of the fight town. He's Stockton's best-kept secret.
I haven't got the publicity that other fighters have received for their skills, but I'm not worried about it.
17-year-old Vincent Avina.
He's tough. He's as tough as they come. He's slick. He's fast. He's got a lot of experience for only being 17 years old.
A bantamweight boxer.
So he does like to bang a little.
Known for his aggressive style and explosive power.
Speed, power, and a smart boxer.
First stepping into the ring at the young age of 9.
I love that first punch.
It's a chess game. You got to know every move.
And no one knows him better than his father, Albert.
I'm not a great coach. He's just a great student.
Teaching the boxing basics while coaching a confident champion.
Every boxer should feel they're the best, because if you don't feel you're the best, you shouldn't be in the ring.
Father-son, boxer coach, a special bond built on tough love.
We have our ups and downs.
Sometimes we see things from a different angle. He sees things from the outside, like in my corner, and I'm right there. So we just combine minds and work through it.
We wait till we calm down, we talk again, figure it out.
More than 70 amateur fights, 9+ amateur titles, including the 2016 Golden Gloves belt and the 2017 Ringside World Championship.
So I threw him to the wolves.
And recently, a first-round knockout in his pro debut.
Once I was in the ring, I just stuck to my training. I just let the right hand go and he went down.
We got the job done.
It just felt like another fight. You don't feel special when you get the world title.
A lifestyle locked and loaded with sacrifices.
Fighting, that's only 10% of boxing. The other 90% is always in the gym.
Talent and dedication. A combo ticket to the top.
Sky's the limit, you know, because he's still young. You don't think he knows it all, he's still learning. And so am I, still learning, so we'll be here for a while.
Vincent's pro record stands at 1 win, no losses, and a draw. He hopes to get back into the ring come November.
So that one, so obviously I pitched the story to my boss, and they say, okay, you can go out and do this story. So we arrive on location, what you do as a reporter. So you sit the subject down, you interview them, and then you have to be on the same page with your photographer. So you go out with your photographer, because in Sacramento, we don't shoot our own stuff. Like my job's in Abilene, Texas, Eugene, and Spokane. I was also the photographer, as well as the reporter, the writer, the editor. You kind of do it all. And slowly, the way you work up the ladder is those jobs kind of diminish. So it's like now I can focus on my craft, which is writing and telling a story and being on TV and being on air. And so you get out to the location, you sit the interviewer down, interview them, have a conversation with them. You need to have B-roll of them. So B-roll is the shots that you see of them boxing in the ring. And you really want to make sure you're on the same page with your photographer, making sure, you get this shot, you get that shot, great, cool. So it's a team effort here. And a lot of times you're kind of writing the story in your head as you go. So you constantly have to be thinking and thinking of how you're going to form this story, how you're going to tell it, what approach do you want to take. So then once that's all over, you go back either to the station or into the live van out there, and you go back. And so for the reporter job, what I would do is you take all that sound, you log all the sound by sound bites. So you just start logging, listen to what they're saying, and you kind of transcribe exactly what they're saying. And so then you take that and you develop it into a story that you want to tell. My style is a little different. Everyone has their own style. I like short tracks and short bites. I like to keep it moving, keep it quick, keep people's attention span kind of in it. I don't like long reporter tracks, and I don't like long sound bites because I think people can get bored. Just kind of my style, the way I do things. Every reporter is different. You just kind of got to develop your own style. So once you have your story written, the photographer then takes it, your script, he'll then put the story together and edit and add all like the little gnats, like the little pops and do his creative flow with it. Then you'll have the executive producer look over it, make sure it's good and ready to go, nothing's wrong with it, and then it hits air. So that's kind of like the process of how a story, I guess, would start through the day and end through the day. Now, some days are different than others. Some days you're live at 4, 5, and 6. I think this one aired at 6, and it didn't have to air in the 4 and the 5. So there's a lot of times too where you're meeting deadlines and you're meeting multiple deadlines as far as what the expectations from the bosses are throughout a day. Any questions so far? Yeah.
So when you turn over your story, all your you've recorded all your VO and stuff, and you turn it over to your editor. I mean, are you out of the picture and he or she is making?
No, we'll constantly work together.
You're in the same edit room and.
Well, I'll leave. I don't like to hover, so it's like, and no one works good when they're hovering. So I give them the script. They get their first draft. They'll call me or text me and say, "Hey, come over here and look at this. What do you think?" And so if it's a little too long, sometimes, I mean, we usually have time limits on our stories, so it's like if it's too long, we need to chop something, we'll chop it, or if it's, hey, do you like this montage, do you like this edit? I think, especially at KCRA, we're really good about being on the same page, and it's every much their story that it is mine. So I think you try to work together as a team, and so I think I'm always involved, they're always involved. I'll have them read over the script before we even start the editing process and say, is this your vision? Because this is my vision, are you okay with this vision? Yes, or do you have any suggestions?
You set out on that piece, you had an idea, you're already talking about it, you sort of a focus where you're going with it.
Yeah.
He or she was shooting.
Some reporters write their story before they even get there, which is fascinating, because I don't like to do that, because I like to go in with an open mind. I like to approach it as something better not even come along that I didn't even expect. So I don't like to just be one track, here's it all written, this is the focus I'm gonna go at. I like to go in and say, you know what, I'm gonna just see what I get offered and take it that way. Because I mean, this next story, I'll show you, I didn't know, I knew this girl was a female quarterback. That's very old. I knew this girl was a female quarterback, but I didn't know she was successful in the classroom as well. So I'm like, instantly I knew that's part of the story. That's a hook.
On a field full of boys.
They're on my side 24/7.
Taking snaps under center.
Probably being center of attention.
Embracing the spotlight is quarterback Ellie Enriquez.
The main purpose of a quarterback is to take control of your team. Like if we're getting down, you have to help them up. If you're getting too hyped, then you have to settle down.
A 5'7" sophomore commanding respect.
There's nothing really different. It was just like another player. I mean, she's a great quarterback. She's all around a great person.
Down to go.
Girl power on the gridiron.
I don't want her to just push doors in. I want her to kick them down.
Learning to love the game at a young age.
She's just been saying since she was going to football games that I'm going to be a quarterback like my brother, so she's kept up her word.
Ready.
A vow to carry on the family tradition of passing the pigskin.
He's taught me everything.
Following in her father's footsteps.
Well, I played quarterback, so I don't know about those other positions, but I could tell her firsthand what a quarterback feels like because I played it.
A quarterback at Sacramento State, and two brothers standouts at Rosemont. Anthony Enriquez, the single-season passing yards record holder, and Buddy Enriquez, owning the most career passing yards in school history. Success all starting with fundamentals.
We have film session. You know, we make time to look at the other team.
If people are back, throw it short. People are coming in, throw it deep.
And for number 10, her accuracy is on point.
She throws the ball well.
Well, when you do something a million times, because she's probably throwing millions of fades, you know, playing flag. So, you know, it just comes with the territory.
Leading the brawn while balancing the brain.
I have a 4.9 GPA.
Wow. Nope. I wish I had that.
All you have to do is pay attention. When you pay attention, it just comes easily.
We got to grind the wheel, you know what I mean? So as her brother's gone through it, so they could tell her firsthand, you know, you can get more money if you got a better grade point average. Yeah.
Breaking barriers while avoiding life's toughest tackles.
If I'm going to make her challenge life, you know, I'm going to tell her, hey, you're going to get hit, and that's part of it. So you either deal with it or you don't play the sport.
Got to get right back up. Act like I'm one of the guys, I guess.
1, 2, 3. In Sacramento County, Michelle Dapper, KCRA 3 News.
So that was kind of cool. So I was at the varsity game, and the JV game was going on before that, and I saw that there was a female quarterback, and I've never seen a female kickers, quite common nowadays. But a female quarterback, for me personally, I could never even imagine taking snaps under center. That's pretty brave, especially at the high school level. And so I set up that story, went out there. It ended up falling in my lap that the dad is actually her offensive coordinator. So now it makes even better story that he works with her day in and day out and is kind of teaching her. And then passing on the family tradition as far as her two brothers, you know, have legacy, great careers at Rosemont. And then I found out that she had the 4.0 GPA, and I'm like, wait, what? Not only is she a good athlete, but she's also really smart. So that kind of all just you work that together, and kind of encompass who she is and what she's overcoming. And like her dad said, is kind of like the tough love. He's teaching her how to get back up in life because life's not always going to go your way. And so again, that's the same story. Is like you go out to the field, do the interviews, get the B-roll, and your photographer and you are just on the same page. Gave them the script, they edit it. It's kind of the same scenario, but sometimes the product comes out good, sometimes it comes out great. Yeah.
So when you head out, you obviously have a bank of questions you're going to start with, and as you discover, you'll wheel, in that live interview, and then once you found the academic piece, then you added that in.
I added that. Yep.
Of your interviews.
Correct.
And then I'm assuming KCRA had the archive of the brothers.
Yep.
So
that's always special. I love when there's old archives. It just adds to the story, and it adds so much, like, it just richens it up, I guess. Last year when I was here, I showed a story about, I think I still have it on there. I did a story last year. He's now the running back at Sacramento State, Elijah Dodson. So Elijah Dodson went to Antelope, was a star running back at Antelope, 1,000-yard rusher. Well, his dad was a 1,000-yard rusher at Grant High School. And we had old interviews and archive video of his dad. So you kind of like did father-son kind of coming together. And so we had the old video from, 90s or 80s and now. So it's kind of cool how you can piece that together. KCRA does have a great job. Their archive system is phenomenal. So it's cool. Any other questions? Who wants to be on TV? Yeah? What do you want to do? Sports? News? Sports? Do you play sports? Yeah, cool. Yeah? Oh, just raise your hand. Cool. So anyone ever heard of Ian Book? Ian Book is the former quarterback at Oak Ridge, but he now plays football at Notre Dame. He's the starting quarterback at Notre Dame. He's not starting today because he's injured, but he was back in town.
Quarterback Ian Book earning the starting job at Notre Dame this season, and during the bye week, there's no place he'd rather be than home.
He's cool under pressure and certainly California cool.
Good to come home and wear some shorts and watch a Friday night game.
Ian Book, a former Oak Ridge quarterback and now the starting QB at Notre Dame.
He's very humble. He's a local kid and homegrown, and he just wants to hang out with his buddies.
Traveling from South Bend to El Dorado Hills.
It feels so good to come home and be able to watch a Friday night game. It's something that I enjoyed so much when I was here.
A night under the lights with the fans and in the stands.
That's pretty cool. I'm just glad to be here and see everybody. Don't let it get to your head or nothing.
He's no stranger to the community. A 3-year starter under center, leading the Trojans to 2 Sac Joaquin section semifinals.
Such a great program here. Very consistent.
Passing for more than 7,500 yards and 78 touchdowns.
Physically, it's his passing accuracy, and he has the ability to extend a play and find receivers down the field.
Now starring for the Fighting Irish, earning the starting job against Wake Forest.
Since I got there, I've been trying to prepare like I'm the starter because you never know what's going to happen.
What a day for Ian Book.
Finishing with 5 total touchdowns.
And when it came, being able to, take charge and lead this offense was something I've always dreamed of.
Obviously, we're proud of Ian. We were proud of Ian before he became the starting quarterback, but this is just really nice to see him live out his dream.
Since then, they've reeled off 3 straight wins.
Some surreal moments out there on the field.
Including victories over then 7th-ranked Stanford and number 24, Virginia Tech.
To me, he just looks like Ian Book playing football. He's pretty much looked this way since he was a little kid.
The journey has only just begun.
It's just a time in my life that, I'll never forget.
As Book looks to pen the next chapter of Notre Dame football.
We talk one game at a time, but the 2 goals we have consistently every year is to graduate and win a national championship. We say it every day.
Hope you enjoyed his quick visit. It's Navy up next for Ian and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish this coming Saturday as they look to remain undefeated on the season.
So that was kind of interesting. So how that one fell in my lap was I knew I was going out to cover the Oak Ridge game, and the athletic director called me and said, "Hey, we got Ian. I'm not telling anyone else but you, so if you want this story, it's all yours." And I was like, "I'll take it." So we get out there knowing that I had my job to do. I also had to put together a story as well. So that was kind of a very busy day, I guess you could say, is there's a lot to do. And we get out there, shoot our stuff for Oak Ridge's game, go live at 6, meet with Ian, talk with Ian, get shots of Ian. I had all the video already pulled for as far as his Notre Dame highlights now, so I knew I wanted to incorporate that. Obviously, he won the starting job. And we knew we were going to save that story to air on a Sunday for the NFL football audience. So that was kind of nice that I got to focus, just shoot it, get it out of the way, and hold it. And then I had Saturday to write it, and so it aired Sunday. So that's how that one kind of fell out. But again, archive use, we got the Oak Ridge stuff. That was in our archives as well, not too long ago, but still had to dig around for that. And I had been covering Ian every single day as far as every Saturday for college football. So. Well, I knew of. I mean, I'm always raised only 90 miles down the road. So I knew, well, one, I knew of KCRA and the legacy station that it was. And as far as talent in this area, I knew the talent that it had. What surprised me was when I first got here, my first story here was water polo. And I didn't know how much talent water polo was. I'm like, there's a lot of talented water polo players here. But no, it didn't surprise me because I had known, especially working up in Spokane, Washington recruits a lot of California kids. So I knew a lot of these kids, and I look at the rosters and I'm like, oh, California, I wasn't surprised. I knew California's pretty special. California, Texas, and Florida are kind of the three most talented states for athletics. So, any questions? Nothing? No? Yeah.
Do you find it difficult to find ideas and stories, or is it like non-stop?
Some days are harder than others. I guess it's a day-by-day thing. That's why you kind of have contacts and you have sources, and people will email. People are pretty good about emailing and saying, hey, I have this story idea, or hey, have you ever heard about this athlete? So that's word of mouth is great. Getting tips from viewers, that's always helpful. And then other days it could be something as like you already kind of know what you're going to do. Like this past, what was it? Wednesday. So Wednesday, the Kings are in town, coming off their road trip, successful road trip. Right then, I knew what I was going to be covering that day. I'm covering the Kings. Like, you have to get on this train right now because they're, playing hot. We knew that's what we're going to do. So it goes both ways. Like some days it's like, man, what am I going to do? I'm struggling here to find a story. Or you'll get a call, hey, come out here, and you're like, let's go. So it kind of varies. I mean, if there's like a coach getting fired, that's your story. Kind of like that. Anything else? Yeah.
So you're obviously a long-term, many-year professional.
Yeah.
And a day's story cycle, you're into it for. I'm sorry. I'm trying to aim sometimes I feel like I push my students too hard, and then sometimes I feel too soft, and I get varied results. So I'm trying to balance like what is a reasonable expectation.
Man, that's
a turn story. So if I started at the top,
some days we're live at 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, and that is a grueling day. That is your demand. Like, okay, so if we're going to the Super Bowl, so we were in Minneapolis for the Super Bowl. We knew, okay, everyone's like, oh, you're going to the Super Bowl. Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. Well, for us, when we think of the Super Bowl, it's thinking, okay, I'm not going to be sleeping this is the honest truth. I'm not going to be sleeping very much. I'm going to be working extremely long hours, and the demands are going to be skyrocket high. So you get there, you're probably starting work at about 8 a.m. Then you're dealing with time zone changes. Freezing weather. We were out, Super Bowl night, we were out in 40 below for 2 hours. I've never been that cold in my life. Don't ever want to feel that pain again. But the demands are so great. So it's like you have your morning conference call and what your day plans are. And it was, okay, we want this story at 4, we want something else at 5, we want a completely different story at 6. So then, right then, you have to get out the door and start gathering and just make it happen. But other days I come in and it's like, I turn a feature, and it's more relaxed. The deadline. So I think I guess my advice would be maybe vary it up. Like some days, show them that deadline and give them that, so they have to be good under pressure. You have to be cool under pressure because there's days where you feel like it's not going to get on, and somehow you have to make it get on. And other days, it's more relaxed. Whereas, I come in, do a feature, flip it around for just the 6, and hey, that's a good day. But other days, you're never stopping. You don't eat. Some days you don't eat. You haven't even gone to the bathroom a lot. I mean, these poor reporters going to these fires. You don't go to the bathroom. Where do you go to the bathroom? It's almost like a firefighter or a police officer. It's like there's nowhere to go to the bathroom. How do you eat? You better have some almonds or some snacks in your backpack because nothing's open. So it's definitely it's not a 9-to-5 job. That's the advice that I have about. It's funny because everyone's like, "Oh, you're on TV. It's so glamorous." It's not glamorous. It's a grind. But you know what? It's so the satisfaction you get out of it, of telling someone's story that means so much. I'm inspired every day by someone else. So that's what keeps me doing it because I don't know. People out there are just so amazing. Yeah.
Do you ever do like soccer or tennis?
Of course. Yes. I did a tennis story recently on a lady that was, she's an older lady, and she plays for her tennis league and won a gold medal in her the tournament. And then soccer, we cover the Republic, and I haven't covered, Sacramento State has a pretty good soccer program. I haven't covered a lot of high school soccer yet. Why, you got story ideas? I'm just kidding. Yeah.
You haven't covered it because we had to spit out for just a moment, but are there any specific classes that might help prepare them?
For them, definitely. For me, it's funny because when I was in high school, they didn't have a broadcasting program, but now my high school does, and I'm like, if I would have had that, I would have been 10 steps ahead of the game. I think for me, the way I approached it was I took drama, I took public speaking, I took debate. I think you really have to be comfortable and learn how to speak in public places. So I think definitely developing skills to speak and speak well. Writing is a very important area, especially a reporter. I mean, even lines like, I don't know, for Ian Book, I knew I wanted to throw a line in there about, penning the next chapter. You kind of play off the word book, and you want to avoid cliche, but you also kind of want to be clever as far as how you write. So I think a lot of English writing and grammar classes, that's good. A lot of people will call in about bad grammar. If an anchor or anyone has bad grammar, they are not shy to call. Whew, it's brutal. So I think the biggest thing is speaking and writing. And that's if you want to be on air, because that's what I'm just speaking of. But any other technical classes, like editing classes, is always good, because I know my first jobs, I had to be the editor, so you have to know how to edit. You have to know how to use a camera. It's a lot of technical stuff too. Yeah.
I just say writing for news immediately different than it is writing for classrooms, because they have
completely
AP.
Yes.
And it's something that is easier, but also more kind of.
It's writing for TV and writing for print are completely different styles. Writing for print, you write in long sentences. Writing for TV, it's short, concise. You don't use big words because the average viewer doesn't understand. So you write almost for an elementary style, an elementary grade level. So you really write down lower than what you think. It's quick, it's concise, and it's simple. It's a big difference than reading a news article, and less wordy. You don't want to stumble over your words. So the writing style is very different, very different. Yeah.
How do you do with interview subjects that are really challenging? You can't really get them to open up or talk about too much.
You just gotta, I don't know, I guess keep asking until they finally give you something. You know, it's funny because when you're out with your photographer, you know when you got it. Like, you know when you look over and you're like, I got it. But I did this story with this young girl the other day. In fact, it was a soccer story. She was a female goalie. I should have uploaded that one. She was a female goalie for the Republic in their academy program. First one that's ever, you know her? Izzy? Yeah, so Izzy's pretty cool. But Izzy doesn't speak a lot. She's very, shy and a little woman of few words, I guess you could say. So it was challenging pulling information out of her. So for her, I knew, okay, I'm going to use quick, because I don't want to make her look bad on TV. So I'm going to use quick little sound bites. But I'm like, okay, I need to talk to coach and I need to talk to mom, because mom and coach are now going to carry my story as far as helping Izzy along, I guess, to tell Izzy's story. So that's what I did there. Some other challenges are, like, say, a professional athlete isn't always willing to talk to the media. Those can be kind of tough as well. I think I learned pretty quick as an intern. I interned at KTVU, and I got to cover Barry Bonds and Terrell Owens. So I found out real fast, that they either want to talk or they don't want to talk, and you're just thankful if they talk, I guess. But yeah, you're kind of on their watch at that point, and what you get is what you get. So, yeah.
I think you go a long way. I teach at Folsom High, and I know you're out there quite a bit. And
yeah.
Nice reputation amongst the students.
Thank you.
It's not an intimidating thing
Good.
to go visit with you. So, from at least a student perspective,
Good.
I think they feel comfortable sharing their information. They
Yeah.
know you're going to bring in a good light.
Yeah, and I love Chris. Chris Richardson is awesome. He's one of my favorites. Yeah. Kate, guys demolished him yesterday. Whew. Yeah.
Give me a talent reel, either shape, any advice for talent reel?
Quick, fast, I've seen news directors, when you send your tape in, your resume tape, when you send it in, they literally are not even looking for 30 seconds. You have to have it now, because 30 seconds in, it's off. If they don't like you, it's off. Have your best 2 or 3 stand-ups right there and keep it quick, like the most moving, active, and different. You want breaking, maybe softer and interactive. Have your best stuff up front and keep it quick and moving, because people don't have attention spans anymore. They want it now, and they want to see it, especially right now with back in my, when I was first applying for jobs, it was you sent a VHS tape to news directors, and you put it in an envelope and you sent it off, went to the post office, and that's what you did. Nowadays, news directors are getting links, and so it's so easy that you have to they're getting so much. Because a lot of times, I guess you could say it was expensive to send out resume tapes for a job. So there was a little bit more of a hesitation on, do I apply for this one? Which ones do you apply for? Now you just send a free link to their email, and they're getting thousands a day if there's an opening. So I think for my job, my agent got my resume, whatever he had, a link, I'm sure it was a link, resume link to my boss. I was the first one. 10,000 people applied for my job. I'm like, and my boss told me, she goes, I saw yours, and by some chance, I saw yours, and everyone now is competing with you. And I'm like, that's how competitive that this business is. And that's just in Sacramento. And the national level is even more. So I would definitely say your best stuff up front, keep it quick, keep it fast moving, and I guess the look that you want to be perceived as, keep that as your front look. A lot of news directors are different. Like, most of the time I can't wear glasses, but sometimes my boss was like, okay, if you want to wear your glasses, you can sometimes. That's rare. A lot of news directors are like, pick a look and stick with it. So definitely have their look that they want to present. Yes, we do. Yep, you could see that KCRA is very solid colors. The dresses are just solid, no prints. My hair is obviously changed. That's when I was in Spokane with a blazer. Awful. Oh man. That was that consultant though. They didn't like skin showing and they wanted big hair. Oh, yeah. So that, yeah, they own your look too, which is, it's interesting. You'll learn, like, if you get into TV, it's, yeah, I can't go home tomorrow and dye my hair blonde and come to work. Won't happen. Anything else?
What would you consider to be your most successful moment in your career? One that you personally took pleasure in?
So this is a local story that, okay, so backstory. All I got told about this story was, oh, go out to Folsom and there's a disabled swimmer. That's all I was told. Okay, cool. I'm thinking, all right, okay, this is already a good story. I never expected what I was walking into.
A 21-year hiatus from the water.
I just like to race.
John Sievers back in the pool and picking up the pace.
And I go after it with conviction.
For the last 8 months, Sievers has spent his mornings training with the Sierra Marlins swim team. All looks equal in the water.
No one knew that, we're all this height in the water.
But on land, John's different from the rest.
I'm different. I kind of walk to the beat of a different drum.
Making waves with his disability.
Bilateral PFFD.
A birth defect that affects the pelvis and the femur, with doctors giving him the option to use prosthetics.
I eventually threw the prosthetics out the window and never looked back.
Powering forward.
Accelerated swimming kind of eliminates the pains that come with the body I live in.
Effortless strokes.
I like the weightlessness. I'm usually in a power chair, and I don't even use that anymore.
A para-swimmer kicking tough challenges.
I was kind of just living a stagnant life, maybe not making the best decisions all the time, and having something to, make a commitment on, clean and sober, you know what I mean? Everything's pure again.
Living a life in the right lane.
It took me a lot of years to realize what kind of light I can shed on a person.
With hopes to inspire with every lap he takes.
Watching his journey through, trying to find, even in our sport, his own way, it never really deterred him from what he wanted to do.
Well, if John can do it, I could do it, because I don't treat him any different.
And for John, he's always up for some friendly competition.
What keeps me hungry is I'm witnessing other types of success in the water through para-swimmers that are worse than I am, the disabilities that they have.
In Folsom, Michelle Dapper, KCRA 3 News.
So that was pretty incredible. I mean, I walked up and I'm like, whoa, wow, you swim? Like, I was completely blown off guard. I was off guard. And we ended up actually being friends. And with that story, he got sponsorships and people donated. So like he's trained for the Paralympics. And so that for me, I think that's the most gratifying thing is just by telling his story and getting it out there, he now doesn't have to pay for swim lessons. He has coaches and trainers. He has a nutritionist. And that was just because people saw what he was doing and how wonderful he is. So that was pretty special, I think. Cool. You bet. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.